Hello, Prealgebra students. This is lesson 52. Our objective is how do you convert units of measure, and this is part 2 because we have done this before. So these first ones are kind of just a quick review of what we've already done before. Example 1 says 90 inches is how many feet? So we'll remember that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So I can use my unit multiplier to convert that into feet. So I'm going to say 90 inches, and I can just write that over 1 if I want. I'm going to multiply it. Since I'm trying to change it into feet and get rid of inches, I'm going to put the inches on the opposite side. Notice inches are on top here, so I'm going to put inches on the bottom down here. So I'm going to put 12 inches down here, and then the 1 foot up here. And again, this number right here, since these are equal to each other, is really just a big number 1. Right? I'm not changing its value because I'm just multiplying it by 1. Because remember, any number divided by itself is just 1. So like 7 divided by 7 is 1. So 1 foot divided by 12 inches, since those are the same, is just 1. I can reduce my inches with inches. Inches with inches. And then I will get 90 times 1, which is just 90 feet, over 1 times 12, which is 12. So 90 over 12 feet, which is the same thing as 7.5 feet. So 90 inches is 7.5 feet. Example 2 says 300 minutes is how many hours, is what they're supposed to say. So again, I remember that 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. So I'm going to write this 300 minutes over 1. I'm going to use these numbers right over here on top and bottom. Since I'm trying to get rid of minutes, I'll put the minutes in the bottom and the hours on top. So I'm going to say 60 minutes and 1 hour. Again, this is just a number 1, so I'm not changing its value, I'm just changing the way it looks. The minutes will reduce with the minutes, and then I will get 300 times 1, which is 300 hours, over 1 times 60. Well, I can reduce the zeros there, and 30 divided by 6 is 5 hours. So 300 minutes is the same thing as 5 hours. This is example 3, literally right out of the book. I took a picture of it. Daniel is buying refreshments for a meeting. He wonders if 4 quarts of juice is enough for 30 students. Is 4 quarts a reasonable amount of juice for the meeting? If not, suggest a more reasonable quantity. So let's convert this. We have 4 quarts. And let's go ahead and use this. I made that note. You could look it up in your quick references because you have these in your quick reference. And then we'll multiply this. I want to get rid of quarts and convert it into ounces because I can kind of convert that a little better. So 1 quart, 32 ounces. Quarts reduce, and I end up with 128 ounces. So if he bought 4 quarts of juice, he'd have 128 ounces. So now let's take that and let's divide it by the 30 students to see how many ounces each student would get. Well, that comes out to be 4.26 repeating ounces per person. Okay. Now, if you think about it, a soda is 12 ounces, and a cup of, say, water or whatever is 8 ounces normally. So is 4 ounces per person enough? I would say no, it's not enough. and I would say he needs to at least double that, right? So that way each person could have 1 cup of juice. But I'd probably go more towards like maybe quadrupling that. So each person can have 2 cups of juice. So if he was going to get, this is 4 quarts, so I would multiply that by 4. I would say get 16 quarts of juice. The book suggests getting twice as many, getting 8, because then everyone could have 1 cup. But, it's just me. I'm going to want more than 1 cup of juice. Alright, now these are, what we're going to try to do in these is we're going to try to convert into a single unit of measure. So notice here in example 4 it says Samantha drove 100 miles in an hour and 45 minutes. How many hours did it take Samantha to drive 100 miles? So we want to find out, convert this into convert this, an hour and 45 minutes, into a single unit of measure. And since it says how many hours, we're going to convert it all into hours. So I have 1 hour, that's already in hours, plus 45 minutes. So I'm going to say this is over 1, multiply it by 60 minutes times 1 hour, over 1 hour. Again, this is just 1, so I'm not changing its value. So this part here on the right is what I'm working with. This is going to be 45, the minutes reduce, hours over 60, and that is equal to 0.75 hours. So how many hours? 1 plus 0.75, so 1.75 hours. Let's try another one here. Example 5, Noel ran 1 mile in 7 minutes 30 seconds. Find Noel's time in minutes. So we want time just in minutes. Express your result as a mixed number and as a decimal. So 2 different answers here. So I have 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, you might be able to convert that in your head, but just in case you can't, we're going to try to do this like we would normally. I remember that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute, because again I'm trying to convert this all into minutes. My seconds reduce and I end up with 30 minutes over 60. 30 over 60 is going to be 1/2 of a minute, which is equal to 0.5 minutes. Since it says it's a mixed number, I'm going to say 7.5 minutes. And as a decimal, I'm going to say 7 plus 0.5 is going to be 7.5 minutes. So 7.5 minutes, 7.5 minutes. Alright, one more here. It says the measure of a room for carpeting. To measure a room for carpeting, Juan converts the length and width of the room from feet and inches into yards. A room that is 13 feet 6 inches long is how many yards long? So I'm going to try to convert all of this now into yards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this into just feet, and then I'm going to convert the feet into yards. Because I remember there are, not 6 inches, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. I remember that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So let's get this all into feet, and then we'll convert that into yards. So I have 13 feet plus 6 inches. Converting inches into feet, I'm going to multiply it by 1. 12 inches over 1 foot. Inches reduce. I get 6 over 12 feet, which is the same thing as 1/2, or 0.5. So it's 13.5 feet. So now to convert this into yards, I'm going to multiply this by 3 feet, 1 yard. Those feet reduce, and I end up with 13.5 over 3 yards. 13.5 divided by 3 gives me 4.5 yards. So 4.5 yards is the same as 13 feet 6 inches. Your homework today is on page 357. You're going to do the practice set, all the 52s, all the 51s, and 5 more of your choice. I can already see the 100% on your paper. Good luck.